Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Georgiana again with Expressions Craft Studio, and I know I've been gone for a while, but I'm trying to get back into the thick of it. So lately I have been working on quilling, and I know that's not something that's typically talked about in Cricut circles, but if you know what quilling is, you know you use paper strips to create your pieces. I ran out of a particular color, green, and so I had to make some more. Now, I didn't have basically a heavyweight copy paper, so I used my Recollections cardstock. And it worked okay. Let me take you to, this is an example of the quilling, where you just take strips and you roll them up to make different shapes. And I've been working on leaves, which is why that's what that looks like. So I did create a file in Cricut, and it's something I'd wanted to do for a while. I just hadn't been back to working on quilling, so I hadn't done it. But I have now since I was forced to. Necessity is the mother of invention. Isn't that something that was on our Schoolhouse Rock when we were kids? And I have since ordered paper. So this actually is a copy paper, 24 pound, I believe. And so I'm going to try now and cut this out. I know that this file works with my cardstock. I want to see how it works with my paper. It should work fine. It's whether or not my mat has the right amount of stick left on it, or whether it's got too much stick. So let's go back to the file. Right. Took me a couple tries to get the right button, but here we are. So we're back to the file, and there's actually two here. I've got 1/4 inch strips and 1/8 inch strips, which is more typical, I believe, for most quillers, but they do come in different sizes. They even come bigger than that. So the main difference is that the 1/4 inch strips, I actually put them in a box, so they will cut out all the way around, whereas the 1/8 inch strips, there is no top and bottom cut. And the reason I did that is because there's so many little intersections there, and you know sometimes how the knife blade will kind of grab and tear, and I was really wanting to avoid that. So I thought if I left that off, that would work better. And it did work great. You just have to then cut the ends off, which I just do with scissors. But I'm sure you could add, that line there if you wanted it to cut out completely. That's strictly up to you. That line is there on the 1/4 inch strips, but we're going to make the 1/8 inch strips again today, since that's what I'm working with. So let's go ahead and first we'll load up our paper on our mat, and I have been using this bottom corner here. So just kind of line that up, press that down really well. Now if your mat isn't as sticky, you can burnish that a lot better, but this is thin paper and I worry about it not peeling off without tearing, so I don't want to burnish it too much. I guess I better turn on the Cricut, and I'll have to plug it in. Let's see. Alright, so we've got that loaded. So we're going to go back to our work surface here, or to our screen, and we're going to hit make. Now most of you know how to do this. Just to make a project. I don't want those strips. I just want these strips, and I'm going to move it down to the corner, bottom left or bottom right, because I don't know my left from my right most of the time. I'm going to move it down there because that's where my paper is, and I'm going to say continue, and I'm just going to ignore those other two windows. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to click, and now I do have to plug in the Cricut. So alright, so we're going to tell it 24 pound paper, and then I am going to tell it to do just a little bit extra or more, because the first time I cut them out, it didn't quite cut all the way. It was really easy to fix that with a blade. I just ran down through each strip and it separated fine, but you don't want to have to do that every time. So then we're going to make sure that that's the mat that's selected, and it is, and we're going to load our mat. Now I will tell you, I timed this yesterday. It took 5 minutes and 15 seconds from the time I hit start or from the time the machine started moving, give or take. And by moving, I mean started to actually cut. So this will take a while, but you can just let it run. It's not gonna, it shouldn't mess up. As long as your paper is secured to the mat, you should be fine. Alright, so that's cutting. So then what we'll do is, let's see here. We're just going to pause this until they're done, and then that way once they're done I'll show you how I peel them off. Alright, those are cut out, and I don't know how well you can see. There we go. So lots of little strips, 64 to be exact, because they're every 1/4 of an inch, so that's 8 to an inch, and you get to cut 8 inches. So to remove them now, I just flip this over and let the paper naturally peel itself away, and just keep bending and rolling the mat back. And actually this paper's coming off of there really nicely. I was a little worried because it is a lot thinner than cardstock, but apparently I've got just the right sticky. Okay, let's set that up there. So now you can see, this is where I was telling you how they're not cut on the ends, but I just take my scissors and do it. Now, mentioning the sticky mat, I use a zig marker. I don't know where mine's at. Oh, here it is. I use the big one to make my mat re-sticky. You just basically paint it on and then let it dry, and it's tacky again. I have reused my mats for years. So let's see, so then you just kind of line up, and it doesn't have to be exact, and just cut them off. Now you could also still cut them apart while they're on the board, on the cutting mat, if you wanted to. If you've got a rotary cutter, you could cut them apart on here. I did that the first time with a ruler and a knife blade, but honestly I feel like for me this is just simpler. I don't always like the way the knife blade cuts. That one's a little thicker, so we're going to set it off to the side. I don't always like the way the knife blade cuts, so for me it's just, I like the finished look with the scissors. And I do worry that if you were to go ahead and cut the ends off while it was still on the Cricut mat, the cutting mat, that you might tear them. I don't think they'd come off as easily. I haven't done it, so I can't say for certain, but that's just my opinion. So there you go. You see, you've got all these little strips. You may have to help them come apart a little bit, but they are cut and they will come apart, and they're ready to go. So now I just need to find a way to store them all. I have been looking at storage solutions for quilling strips, and I haven't decided on one yet. I'm probably going to go with, well, maybe a sleeve method. I did see one lady who did a sleeve. She used like the pocket protectors, and then she would sew up, and so she'd get 3 or 4 strips on a page protector, I should say. And then these just fit right down in there, and then she could sew another piece across the front before she sewed it up, so that she could put her little scraps in there, because you can use those. If they're long enough, you will be able to use them. But let's just see. I might not have cut that quite right at the top, but I was close enough because they're just pulling apart. So if you haven't tried quilling yet, you should definitely Google it. There are some beautiful designs out there. There's a lot of easy instructions. I printed out my first set of instructions in 2004, and I still have them. It printed with the date on them, so that's how I know. So 20 years, and it's just some basic patterns. And I'll just make some here real quick. But so here's this is just coiling, and it's really easy. It's very therapeutic. You can do it watching television. You just need some paper strips, a tool, and some glue, and you can kind of release the coil just gently to let it do its own thing, and then you can glue it down. Some of the other things I've seen, let's see, I'm going to cut one in half because I don't want to use a bunch of this. Oops. So I cut it in half. I'm folding it in half, and then you take and you just quill each half. You can quill it out or in. If you go in, it'll look like a heart, and if you go out, it'll just look like a little natural spray of greenery. You can quill it down as far as you want. And this side. So normally, if you've been following me, you know I normally make cards, but I have kind of gotten out of that recently just because we've had a lot going on. Without going into too much detail, I do want to show you this though. Look how cute that is. So it's attached at the bottom because that's where the fold is. Isn't that cute? Now you can put these on cards, especially if you're already making dimensional cards and you understand that mailing them is a little bit different. You have to take extra postage and maybe extra packaging just to keep them from getting squashed, but you could definitely put these on your cards as well. But I'm glad my copy paper worked. My colored copy paper, which I got from Walmart, by the way. It was in a sorted pack of 6 colors, and I got 2 different packs, so there's 12 colors total. So you'll get a lot of strips out of that, and I think it was like $5.97. Let me show you. Sorry, I've got stuff stacked on stuffed. Astra Brights. And this one is the pack with Lunar Blue, Merry Mint, which is what this is the Merry Mint. Lift Off Lemon, Punchy Peach, Bubblegum, and Purple, Peppy Purple. I like the blue and purple. The other colors I don't think I would have bought, but when you're looking at it online, it's kind of hard to tell what you're getting. So that was just one pack though. This is the other one. And it's got Gamma Green, Cosmic Orange, Solar Yellow, Re-Entry Red, Planetary Purple, and Celestial Blue. I sense a theme there. Yeah. So this pack I like a lot. Orange isn't my favorite, but I'll use it in flowers and stuff, and flower centers. And they have other color assortments too, but I had to have them shipped, and I just decided, well, for $10, $12 I can try these and see if I like them, and I do. I can tell you I do like them. So if you're into quilling, you know, this is a good workaround if you run out of strips. They're not as long as the ones you would buy from the online retailers, but I mean, you can't beat it especially if you've already got it. Now I didn't already have it, but for the price, I mean, I'm gonna get what is there? There's 120 sheets, so there's 20 sheets of each color, and out of those 20 I will get 86. Is that what I said? 8 times 8? 68. So 68 times 10 is 680, times 2 is 1360. So 1,360 strips of 1/8 inch strips out of just one color in these packs. So it's not a bad price. So if you're not into quilling, you might want to look into it, because it really is, it's a very easy craft. You don't need a lot of tools. There are tools available, and I'll be showing some of those in the days to come, but you don't have to use them. when they talk about a quilling comb, you can actually use just a regular comb. So, you know, there's different ways around things, but I enjoy it. I had forgotten how much I enjoyed it. I just wanted something easy to kind of dip my toe back in, and I'm having fun with this. So I hope you'll join me. I'm going to try to do one a day, like I said, and till we get through this, and then we'll make something different, because there's all kinds of flowers and there's other different types of leaves besides these 30. You know, there are a lot of creative people out there who've provided a lot of content, so it's a really easy way to keep yourself busy. And like I said, you can do it watching television, and that's great, because that's the time of day when I usually am just playing games on my phone, because I'm either not interested in what we're watching, or I've learned to watch and listen, you know, pay attention to my phone. So I'd rather do something like this. So anyway, I'm going to cut this off. This was supposed to be like a 4-minute video, and I hope y'all take care of yourselves. I hope you have a happy crafty day, and thank you so much for watching me and listening to me and putting up with me, and thank you to my friends who've been my therapists, and it's a great big world out there. Surround yourself by people that love you. Okay? I'll talk to you later. Thanks, guys.